COVID. Hi, welcome to another video and podcast. I am Leslie Davidson, your High Priestess of Holy Shit at the Church of Beloved Presence. And today, actually for the next little while, we're going to be talking about the core principles of the church and basically of me. The core principles that run this program, that run the work that I'm doing here. There's really only one rule, but there's others that also are associated, and it's good to talk about them as well. But today we're going to talk about the first truth. Gary! Oh, he likes to be involved. Today we're going to talk about the first truth. And the first truth is that everything is one and it's all loved. And hello. And the first truth is everything is one. Like literally we're all one giant thing together. We're all connected and it's all loved unconditionally forever. No judgment about anything at all. Like the most unconditional love that I've ever felt before. And this came out of my mystical event, which I'll link in description. There's another video. Don't touch the mic. What are you doing? Just lie down. Just lie down and I'll pet you. But when you like wander around and stuff, I know you were calling earlier. You want me to pet you. Just lie down. Just lie down. Lie down. Cats. They got to do it their way, on their time, when they want to, exactly the way they want it. It's why I love cats so much. They totally mirror me to myself. This happened during my mystical event, and it changed my life forever. I've talked about it a little bit, but I want to get a little more specific about it today. It really changed how I perceived who I was, how I perceived the world. We are literally, when we come face to face with anything in the world, coming face to face with divinity. It's literally how the world is set up. It's just so hard because all of us can suck so bad that it's so hard to remember that. So hard to remember that we're coming face to face with beloved presence every day, everywhere, and everything. In everything's made up of beloved presence, of divine energy, of universal source. And so even when people are shitty and rude and assholes, they're also beloved presence. It's just they're being dicks. It's really hard. For a little while after the mystical event, I was really good at remembering that. And the fact is that when you come face to face with someone who's being a dick, and in your mind you are thinking specifically, oh, this is beloved presence, I'm coming face to face with divinity, it changes them. It changes how they interact with you. There's something about that, holding that belief as you behold someone, that changes the interaction. And I've become actually really bad at doing that. I have become very judgmental about how people treat me. And it's easy to do because you work in retail for a little while and you'll become judgmental too. It's a really difficult service job. Any kind of customer service job is difficult to remain connected to source and remember that everyone is beloved presence. Because man, people do not act like that, and it's really, really hard. And I don't know how long I can work in retail because it's so hard for me to remember the truth. So whose problem is that? I'm not sure. That's not a topic for today. But it literally changed everything. It changed how I perceived the world. It changed how I moved through the world. And that is the number one truth. That is the only thing that I know that's true in the world. And we'll get back to that later. Oh, no, we're going to talk about it right now. Because what happened after my mystical event, after knowing, and I want to talk about the knowing. That's what we need to talk about. When I had my mystical event, I knew the truth. And it's the difference between knowing it in your body instead of just knowing something in your mind. I knew the truth of existence, that we're all one and it's all loved unconditionally without judgment forever, and that it's all okay. I knew it in my cells. Like in my cells. I didn't just know it in my head. It wasn't just an idea. It was an experiential knowing in my body. And I don't unless you've had that happen, I can't explain it to you, but it's different. Like, I'll never doubt that. That's real. That's absolutely real. That's true. That's true forever. That's true. In any situation, there's no caveats, and it's the only thing that's true. It's the only truth that exists, really. Now, afterwards, about probably 10 years later, I went through what's called the dark night of the soul. And I'll go into it in a lot more detail in another video, but a lot of people go through the dark night of the soul before they have a spiritual awakening. I haven't really read about people having a spiritual awakening and then going through the dark night of the soul, but that's what happened to me. And that's what I know. I know what happened to me, and that's what I can share with you. And now, you don't have to rub your face on the camera stand. Okay. Oh, I didn't get to do what I wanted to do, so now I'm going to leave, so peace. All right, Gary. I love cats. Right, so my dark night of the soul, basically what happened is I still was holding beliefs that weren't true. I was still holding on to false beliefs about the world and divinity and how it all worked. And they were based around ideas of safety and saving. I still had ideas that beloved presence acted like a parent god, and it would come down and save me. I also had false ideas about how my spiritual beliefs would keep me safe. There's a lot of false ideas. I had false ideas, and the dark night of the soul will take away from you everything that isn't true. And essentially that's what happened. It took 2 years. It took 18 months to 2 years. And it was a hard time in my life. I still enjoyed life. I could still go out and do stuff. But anytime I was left with myself and my own thoughts, it was a very depressing time, because the things that I had relied on to be true and to keep me safe and to make me feel good about my life and myself were being taken away from me. They were being blown away. And that's what it felt like, was almost a divine wind that was blowing away things that weren't true, and a sense of falling. That's all that I can ascribe it to, is I didn't feel like I was falling in a physical way, but I felt like I was falling down into a hole on a spiritual and mental, emotional plane. Everything that I tried to grab onto turned out to not be solid. And that's what the process was, is falling down, grabbing on and having it fall, and grabbing on and having it not hold me and fall. And they were beliefs. They were beliefs and ideas about the world and how the world worked and what was true. And I fell until I stopped falling. And that was, again, I fell onto, is it loving and inclusive? That's it. That's all that's real. We're one. We're all one. And it's all about love. And it's fucking simple and hard as shit. Hey, so this is future me. And as I'm editing this, I realized that I need to step in here and warn you before it happens, or let you know that this is about to happen. I'm about to have a little breakdown, a little emotional, going into the sads. Okay, I go into the sads in about 5 seconds. So I wanted to just prepare you. If you wanted to stop watching now, I get it. Or you want to stop listening, because I don't know that I'm going to edit it out. I think it's important for it to be there. The fact is that I'm still in the sads, because what this brought up is some kind of core shit stuff that I'm working with, that I'm trying to move through. It's been with me for a long time, and it's paramount to following my purpose and doing what I came here to do, which is to talk about spirit. And it has to do with body image and value and deserving and failing and a lot of really painful kind of stuff. So I'm okay. You know, I can be in the sads and be okay and live my life and still laugh and have fun, but it's like an iceberg of, you know what I mean? Iceberg meaning like there's a little bit at the top that I kind of cleared off, but there's a ton more underneath that needs to come up to the surface and be felt and expressed and let go of. So there's a lot of processing. There's a lot of just feeling and being quiet and reflective, and I'm okay. And I'll let you know more as I know more, but I just wanted to warn you before it happens. Okay? All right. Thanks. Live your life from there. Live your life and fail every day. Fail every day at not... Oh, I have such a headache now. Welcome to the spiritual path. Definitely not all joy and roses. Well, I'm going to come back to that and figure out or allow that to process and find out what that was all about. I suspect it's guilt and shame and judgment for not being able to live my life all the time in alignment with my core truth. The core truth of, is it loving and inclusive? Have I been loving and inclusive every moment? No, clearly not. Clearly not. I like how emotional expression like that leaves me with a sense of emptiness afterwards. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but the way I envision it is an emotional release is like unthawing a frozen piece and letting it go. So you can imagine it as water or vapor, something that was frozen and held has been thawed and float away in water, released like a gas, and what's left is an empty space where that frozen used to be. But it means that something else can take that place. And normally what we have wrapped up in frozen, when we're holding emotional beliefs or trauma or pain, when we hold it frozen, what we're holding back is joy. And that's almost always what happens. Right now, I have a partial relief. I'm aware too of doing all of this on camera, which is a first for me. Normally I just get to cry on my own and I don't do it publicly. Do my own emotional work by myself. But that's what happens. The emotional release happens, and oftentimes there's just a sense of emptiness, which is fine, because it takes a while to process. It takes a while for that to move through. And sometimes I don't have any conscious understanding, real understanding of cause and effect of what it is, of what has been released and what has been healed. It's just, it is what it is. And I no longer try and find a conscious understanding that's like a logic side that it isn't always helpful. But I always feel lighter and calmer. It's not a video unless Leslie cries. Welcome to my world. Jesus. All right. So yeah, is it loving and inclusive? And like I said, it's super simple, but it's really, really hard. It's super hard to live from that truth. And I know that we have fall on our face forgiveness. It's a gift to us because there is no judgment and we're loved unconditionally. We have fall on our face forgiveness. There is no judgment for us for anything. And let me be clear for that. We're the only ones that judge. Okay, spirit doesn't judge. Beloved presence doesn't judge at all, ever, about anything. We literally can do whatever we want here, whatever we want. But it's always got to be paid back. Okay, you can do whatever you want horribly, painfully, destructively. You can do anything you want. You'll never be judged for it. You, however, will judge yourself, and you will have to experience all the pain that you created. That all comes back. That's karma at its best, is that it all comes back and it has to be paid. The equation has to come out even. You have to balance the equation. It's always, there's only balance. Is it loving and inclusive? Is it balanced? And that's the thing, is you can experience anything you want, even terrible, terrible, horrible things. But they're not for free. You have to pay it back. So, what do I want to do? Create a whole bunch of shit? No thanks. No thanks. Like the Wiccan Creed, well, one small part of it, any harm none, do what you will. I mean, it's the best thing. So is it loving and inclusive? I ask that question for pretty much everything that is a question I need answered for in my life about spiritual philosophy, belief systems, even like politics and belief. And there's a lot of not inclusive and not loving in politics. Like most of it isn't. Most of politics is corrupted and terrible. Most of government is corrupted and terrible, because definitely not inclusive or loving. But for me, it's the barometer, it's the framework through which everything gets judged as whether it's accepted or me. It's my discernment. My discernment is through the lens of, is it loving and is it inclusive? I think we all have a certain sense in our core that we're all equal. We have a sense that everyone is equal. Like, I feel kids definitely know. That's why they call out, oh, not fair, because they know that we're all equal. Like, I remember as a kid knowing that we were all equal. We were different. We weren't the same. Equality didn't mean same, but it meant that we were all valuable. We all had a right to be here. We all deserved to be treated well and to have what we needed. Like, there was just a sense as a child that I knew that was truth and that was right. Is it loving and is it inclusive? Follows through with that. And I've just recently found out that there's a belief system, a spiritual philosophy called animism, which I don't know a lot about it, and I'm not probably going to look too far into it because I'm not interested in naming myself as a particular theosophy or theosophical pathway or whatever. I'm not interested in following a prescribed path. But it was interesting for me to find out that animism is the idea that everything has a soul. That that human beings are not the pinnacle of spiritual development because we're the only ones that have a soul on the earth. Like, fucking wank off with that, right? Like, I'm so it makes me rage because it's so much a belief system that has created such fundamental problems in the world right now. Like, it is generally a source of all the ills: capitalism, environmental destruction, just racism. Like, just everything is based on the idea that certain humans or humans in general are better than anything else. And then within that, of course, certain humans are better than anyone else. And then, you can hierarchy. You can hierarchy it all in any situation. Anything can be made into a hierarchy to make some people better than others. And it's just bullshit. Like, it's not based in any kind of truth. It's not real. Anyway, animism is the idea that everything that exists has a soul, has a spark of spirit. There's this thing called an animus mundi. It's the world soul. And it's why my belief, my philosophy, my worship is so earth-based. There are a lot of religions that tend to want to dismiss or bypass being physical in favor of some other ascended betterment state. Ascension seems to be to leave the body behind and ascend to some ethereal place, and I think that's also bullshit. There's nothing not spiritual about material. Like, so many religions have turned being a physical body into a sin. Like, ooh, you fucked up. No, you're back physical again. Too bad. Try again. Try and escape from the rounds of samsara, from the physical. And I'm not saying I understand what that means. I just know that there's this, and I might be misunderstanding it. Okay, I fully accept that I am not a Hindu expert at all. There's a lot of things that I love about Hinduism, and Buddhism as well, but the inherent sense of the inferiority of the material realm, and the fact that it is something that you're supposed to negate and deny, feels fundamentally not for me. I see it more as we're spiritual beings having a human experience in the physical world, and this physical world is here to teach us about how spirituality works in a dense physical plane. It's not separate from spirituality. It is spiritual itself. It's just slower and denser, and the waveform is much longer. The cause and effect here is much longer for things to work than you would be used to on an etheric or spiritual plane. So that was really long. That's number one of the core principle of, is it loving and is it inclusive? Okay, that's the first truth. The first truth is that we are all one and it is all love. And from that comes the question, is it loving? Is it inclusive? And everything else that I talk about, all the rest of the core principles, always refer back to core principle number one. This is the only one that really matters. Like, really, all the other ones are good ideas and things I like and aspire to, and they're my core principles. This one is like the universal principle. All right, so thanks for being here. Thanks for sticking with me as I went and just cried for like 5 minutes. Whew. Gotta let that process. I'll come back. I'll let you know what comes up for me about that. This is pretty intense because I'm finding as I do more of this, there's always a balance. What I'm doing outside is working on the inside too, and it's starting to move up stuff that I haven't been looking at. There's a lot of themes of guilt and shame and not good enough that come up when I present to the world. So it's just what happens. Can't let this stuff stop you from going ahead. It's going to be there. You can't be perfected before you do your work in the world. I mean, that's a good solid advice. Just start doing it, because all that other stuff will work itself out. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate your support. I really appreciate you giving me a like or subscribing or checking out the Patreon and joining up there if you'd like to support more videos like this. Say something in the comments. Let me know if you like this. Let me know if you want to see more stuff like this or what else you'd like to see. I'm open to it. I mean, I have a plan for what I'm going to be creating, but I like input. I mean, this is for you. I'm doing what I think is the right thing to do, but I'm also interested in what you want. Okay? What will help you? So, interested in that, let me know. Good having you here. Good seeing you again. Talk to you soon. Is it loving and is it inclusive? Is it loving and inclusive? Pew, 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 pew. That's nice. What a hard thing to live by. We're all one. What the fuck was that? Okay, bye. It's not COVID.